Hello, everybody. Sorry for the slight delay. Welcome to the user experience panel. I'm Abby Roper from City, University of London, and I'm going to be co-chairing this session along with Sergio Mascetti, who you can see from the University of Milan. Thank you to our session sponsors, SIGACCESS, the Computer Science and Engineering Research Unit at the Department of Informatics in the University of Lisbon. Today, you're going to meet 5 panelists, Jan and Carly first, then Roobi, then Sannah, then Inho Seo. And they're joining us from different time zones and different countries. So some of them are joining us from the future, Wednesday. I would like to welcome them all and thank them for agreeing to share their personal lockdown experiences with us in today's panel. So just a couple of bits of housekeeping before we start. First, the structure. Our session will begin with a series of one-to-one Q&A sessions with each of our panelists. Each conversation will begin by playing you a short video, followed by 4 or 5 questions with the panelist. You might have seen some of the videos already on Discord or on the Assets Facebook group. The 4 individual conversations will be followed by a panel style Q&A where everyone will turn their cameras on. If you're an attendee, you can pose questions for the panelist using Zoom's Q&A feature, or you can upvote questions that have already been posed during the session. And Sergio and I will try and draw from these in the questions that we ask, as well as from the pre-conference discussions on Discord. So a note about the access features now. I'd like to highlight that we have ASL and BSL interpreters in this session. Their names are prefixed with BSL and ASL on Zoom. Attendees can also view captions by selecting the Show Subtitles option on the Closed Captions menu. If you need assistance, please ask a question using Zoom's Q&A feature or text the Ask an Accessibility Chair channel on Discord. So that's quite enough from me, I think. Let's get started. I'm going to begin by playing a video for you from Jan and Carly, who will be our first speakers.
So you've just been asked if you can talk a little bit about how you found using technology this year in lockdown. So what kind of technology have you used?
Computer, very good. A Luna, difficult. Zoom, very good.
So when you've been, so on the computer, you've used Zoom and emails mainly, haven't you?
Yes.
And then at the beginning of lockdown, how did we talk to each other?
Yeah, very good. Yeah. A phone.
What did we use on the phone?
Zoom.
Yeah, or just the video WhatsApp, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which was good. And I know you've got really confident with it now.
Yeah.
But did you feel confident in the beginning?
Tricky. Yeah. Yeah.
And what made it easier?
Yeah.
So having people support you.
Yeah. Friends.
Yeah. And practice?
Yeah, well, very good.
Practice.
Yes.
Practice. Okay.
All right. See you later.
Thank you, Jan and Carly. I wonder if I can ask you to turn your camera on for us now and your microphone.
Hello.
Hello, can you see me okay?
Yeah.
I'm a bit small, maybe.
No.
Thank you so much for joining us. I don't know if in the video, I don't know if we explained who you are. So do you want to say who you are?
A stroke. Me. A daughter. Very good. A Malcolm. Husband.
Yeah, so Jan's had a big stroke when she was 46, which was 15 years ago. So I've just given away her age, sorry.
21.
And yeah, and I'm her daughter, and I also work in stroke support. So we've got
So Jan, I know you because I'm a speech and language therapist, and I study a topic called aphasia, and you have something called aphasia, don't you?
Yes.
And do you want to say to us what aphasia means for you?
Okay. Aphasia. I can't explain. People are smart here. Yeah, words are coming out. Yeah, friends. Very good. Yeah.
So can I check what I think you saying, you know, you've got all the intelligence in here.
Yes, yes.
And then something, the aphasia means that it doesn't all come out.
Yeah, yes.
But it's sort of better when you're talking with friends or family members. It's a bit easier with communication. Yeah. And so it affects talking. It can also affect reading and writing, can't it, for some people?
Yeah, I don't read.
Okay.
I don't read words, small words. Yeah.
Okay, so you read things in kind of like, it's a bit easier for you if it's like a headline or simplified things.
Magazines. Yes.
Yeah, magazines are okay, but maybe a big long novel is
a
bit complicated.
Yeah.
So I sent you some questions before, and I'm going to ask them to you now, if I may.
Yes.
So question number 1, I'm going to ask you for an interesting fact about yourself.
Okay. Afterwards, a driving instructor was. I drive. Very good. Yeah.
So you've been a driving instructor before you had the stroke?
Yes. Yes.
And then you stopped driving, didn't you, when you had a stroke?
Yes.
But you're back driving again now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. My next question is, has anything improved for you because of this year?
Oh yeah, a daughter, a Carly, talk, yeah, very good. Coffee, yeah, it's amazing.
we've been able to spend a lot more time
Yeah.
together because I'm home based and we actually only live about 20 minutes from each other. But because of work, usually we'd see each other maybe once a week. But
yeah.
And it means I can support Mum with a lot more things as well, which has been been really good, hasn't it?
Yeah.
She always brings naughty food though, which she keeps turning up with cake.
Wow, naughty but also nice. I've got question 3 now. How has technology affected your access to communication?
Yeah, Zoom, very nice. Zoom.
Yeah.
And Mandy, a stroke job. Yeah, very good.
Because what are you for the Stroke Association? You're
A volunteer.
So you support other people who have had a stroke?
Yes.
Yeah. And you do that on Zoom?
Yes. Yeah.
It's growing. It's
Yes.
yeah. Needed.
Usually those things used to be face-to-face groups, didn't they?
Yeah.
But you've moved them all online now?
Yes.
For now, yeah.
Yeah. I've got one final question in this little set. What one change would make your life easier?
Text message. Yeah. Too much. Text. Writing. A price. Yeah.
If there's pop-up boxes going along with any app or program on the computer, and the pop-up box has a lot of text, it's so difficult for mum to then read that and interpret the message.
Yeah.
So things that are just one click and you get where you're going is really useful.
Tricky. Yeah.
All right, so I think you're saying the pop-up messages get in the way. They stop you getting to do what you want to do. But the one click, things like I'm thinking Amazon has one click. It's a bit easier.
Yeah.
They've done quite well, crafty with their with their user-friendly features there, haven't they? Thank you so much. I'm going to draw it to a close there, and then we'll come back and ask you another question in a minute, so we have some time for some other people. Thank you so much. Can I ask you to turn your camera and your microphone off for now, and we'll hand over to Sergio.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Roobi. I'm from Italy and I'm partially sighted. I just finished my last semester in international cooperation during the lockdown, and it was quite challenging. We used different communication tools depending on our teachers, and not all of them were accessible with my screen reader. For example, in Microsoft Teams, I couldn't use the chat that we used for raising our hand and taking part in discussions. Also, during exams, it was not that easy, because exams are already stressful, but I was not sure about showing my ID properly in the camera, and also I had some problems during the presentations with the slides and all that stuff. Well, after the lockdown, I have to face other difficulties in my daily life. For example, a funny one is when I enter in a bar or in a medical store, there are these transparent safety barriers between me and the other person, and I can't see actually the transparent things. So I always bumped into them, and it's quite funny, but it's a daily problem that I have to deal with. Thank you so much. I hope you're all fine and healthy, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Robbie, for sharing your experience. Hi, here you are.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much. So, is there anything else that you want to tell about you? That you want to share with us?
Yeah. So, well, I'm Roobi. I live in Milan, and I'm finishing my master's in December. And I'm originally from Pakistan, but I live in Italy since 2004, so a long time ago. And yeah, that's all.
Okay, great. Did you see any? I mean, lockdown was a negative experience for many of us, but did you have any positive aspect that you can link with lockdown, dealing with assistive technologies, or your experience in a broader sense?
Well, it has been really a completely new experience. I mean, firstly, I didn't have to go to university every day, so we could just follow lectures or communicate among friends, students, and teachers with many online softwares. For example, we used Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Skype, and for example, Google Meet. So it was really nice because I could spare a lot of time that I could use for doing like something new. For example, I started learning to play a guitar, so I could use the time I spent for public transportations to do something else.
So you didn't have to commute, so you have more time for other activities.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, great. And what is it? How did you experience your the technology for communicating this year? I mean, you use Zoom, you use all this system. Do you also, for example, use social networks or other things more than usual due to the lockdown?
Well, normally I use social networks, for example, WhatsApp or Facebook, but I use them the same way I used before. Of course, now I don't have the possibility, for example, to communicate with my friends, like seeing us. So we just communicate. We can do like group calls with Zoom or in WhatsApp. So it has changed a lot. Yeah.
Okay. And I think I have other two questions. So another one is there a change to a mainstream technology that would make your life easier? Or more than one, if you can suggest more than one.
For example, I really liked, for example, for my German class session, we used this online platform. It's called Zoompad in German. I don't know if it's pronounced Sampad or in English. And it was really nice because we could, like, for example, write down at the same times. All the students could write down their ideas about a certain topic. So it was like an online collaboration, but I found it really good. But it was not completely accessible with my screen reader, but I really appreciated that because it gives the opportunity to collect a lot of ideas also from people and students that normally maybe they are shy and don't want to share. So
that's good.
Yeah,
that's interesting insight. Yeah, and we have also one question for the Discord server, that is a tool that we're using during the conference, and one of the participants asked whether you have some insights about traveling. You told us that you didn't commute, and so you saved some time, but maybe you just moved from time to time, and was it harder than usual? Did you encounter any additional problem?
Well, first of all, I love traveling, so it was hard, like due to the restrictions that I couldn't travel a lot. But normally I travel alone. I'm not accompanied by any sighted person, but I do ask a lot when I'm outside. when I need any information, I just ask people around. And now, of course, it's quite harder because due to the restrictions, there are not a lot of people outside. So sometimes it becomes really difficult to find someone to ask any kind of information. For example, if I'm at a bus stop and I mean, I can't see the display, so I'm not sure what bus is coming. So normally I just ask someone who's waiting there, but now I don't find a lot of people outside. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I would ask you, Roobi, to now wait a little bit. We discuss with the other panelists, and then you can join back the conversation afterwards. So
Perfect.
if you can
Thank
turn
you.
off your camera and your mic.
Hello, my name is Sannah and I work at the Deafness, Cognition and Language Research Centre at University College London, UCL. As you can see, I'm a deaf sign language user. Coronavirus has really impacted on how deaf people interact online and what video platforms they use. Our response to this was to create remote working guidelines for online meetings and presentations involving sign language, aimed at deaf and hearing people and interpreters. These can be found on our website. What impacted the most for me was the intensity of visual focus during online meetings, as sign language is a visual language. I realised that I was more hypervigilant as to detect what is back-channeling contributions versus just non-meaningful movements. So, reducing visual clutter and audible noise. So, for example, having a plain background and switching your cameras off if you're not contributing. That helped to minimise this. There's a lot of cultural norms that cannot really translate well in online interactions, such as tapping or waving or pointing to reference or get someone's attention. Because everyone's perspective is different and layout is different online, and there are different challenges in engaging eye gaze. In terms of video platforms, my personal preference is for Zoom versus Teams. The reason is that video quality in Zoom is much more enhanced, higher quality, and it reduces the visual constraints and fatigue for me.
Thank you, Sannah, for that. Sannah, can I please ask you to turn your video on? Hello. Hi, Sannah.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us and for sharing your experience with Zoom and teleconferencing and telling us about the guidelines. I'm interested to see that some researchers at this conference have also, from Gallaudet, have also been working on similar themes. So it'll be interesting to share the two between you and them. So I'll ask the same questions which we've asked to our 2 panelists so far. Question 1 is, can you tell us an interesting fact about yourself?
Okay, so I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in music, so I can play the flute, I can play the piano, and a little bit of drums.
I love it. And are you in an orchestra, I think, something like that?
I used to be at university when I was studying. I was involved in an orchestra also at school, but I'm no longer part of an orchestra now.
Okay, thank you. So we talked about challenges with technical issues and accessibility. Is there anything during the pandemic which has actually improved accessibility for you in daily life?
So what I can say on a positive note is that more people are considering accessibility more generally. So it's becoming part of everyday conversations rather than an expectation that deaf and disabled people need to be taking the onus to request it. So that's a positive thing. I can also add that in terms of attending conferences and lectures, we are no longer geographically limited. But so there seems to be a sense of ensuring that people are more connected than they used to be.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this whole conference has shown us that, in fact, we've got probably more people at this conference than we've ever had before when we've had a physical conference. For that reason, it's great. My next question is, how has technology affected your access to communication this year?
Okay, I think it's been very difficult because deaf people rely on visual communication, and technology can increase the demand of paying attention. So, for example, I know as a sign language user, I don't have an opportunity to take a break from the screen and look away. I'm also looking at a 2D image, which doesn't give a sense of a holistic communication. Within deaf culture, we have cultural and societal norms, and they don't tend to fit in well online. So things such as tapping, waving, and pointing. If you're online, there's also that less opportunity to have those side conversations with your deaf colleagues. The online system doesn't quite fit that. And sometimes I find I really have to pick and choose what I attend online because my visual attention is so drained, and that can create a lot of stress.
Yeah, so it sounds like Zoom fatigue affects everyone, and perhaps more so because you have to use your visual concentration throughout.
Absolutely.
One final question before we hop over to Inho Seo. What one change to a mainstream technology or feature of everyday life would make your life easier?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I think from my own personal experience, it would be good if those creating those video platforms could consider visibility of sign language users and also building technology that is based on deaf and disabled people's perspective rather than coming from an oral perspective. So it's about being aware that there are different forms of communication taking place on those online platforms. I think it's also to ensure that technology is accessible to everybody. We have to consider those who are experiencing digital poverty. And we should have standardized accessibility tools across platforms. So when people are making the software, they should consider those in advance.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. We'll switch over now to our final attendee, and then we'll come back as a group. Thank you, Sannah.
Hello, my name is Inho Seo, and I am a blind undergraduate student studying political science and computer science at Sogang University in Seoul, South Korea. Everyone over the world has been facing different challenging situations this year due to COVID-19. COVID-19 has made very big changes on people's life. In my case, I've lived alone, so I had to survive by myself during a lockdown. Mobility service for the visually impaired, and useful applications such as food delivery, e-commerce, InVision, Seeing Assistant to Move Extra helped me get independent a lot. It could be possible since those services were accessible enough to use. I really hope everyone is safe right now and everything will be better soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Inho, for sharing your experience in this video. Is there something more you want to tell us about yourself?
Thank you for the video. And yes, actually, I think I have two things. I am, as I said in video, I have double majors in political science and computer science, and I've been to the United States with my exchange program for 2 semesters, and then I traveled to the States for 1 month as a backpack trip by myself. So
wow.
I think it is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is indeed. Where have you been?
Okay, I have about 10 states, like Chicago, Indianapolis, Chicago, Las Vegas, LA, Seattle, San Francisco, Silicon Valley, of course, and New York, Washington, D.C.
That's amazing.
Yes,
I envy you so much, and now I envy you even more because we are in lockdown and no one can travel. So
it was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Okay.
Good time choice, because now you wouldn't be able to do that.
Yes, I cannot. I'd like to go more, but I cannot go anywhere.
Yeah, this you have in common with Roobi. She also likes to travel. So I understand this have been a tough time for you alone at home. But is there something positive that you want to share with us about the lockdown in terms of accessibility or anything else?
Okay, I think I can talk about 2 things also, because one thing is about my class in my courses in university. Last semester, I had some courses last semester from my university, and then some of them were in computer science field, and then last semester, but every courses were delivered online, and then I couldn't go to campus, and then I couldn't see my professors at all. So, but the professors recorded their lecture and then uploaded the video on the online course system, and then I could replay it several times. And then for that I could study it in detail, because many of topic from computer science is instructed with visual materials on the classroom. So if it was actually until last year, honestly, in the classroom, in the real time course, if I missed something something visual in the lecture, then I had to it was not easy for me to follow up the rest of the lesson. So so actually it was not easy for me to study in detail in computer science field, especially specifically. But in the video I could do, because I could reply it more as many as I wanted, and then I could email the professor and then indicate the a specific time and then a specific topic that I couldn't understand. So it was easier for me to study, I think, thanks to virtual classes. And the other thing is that that I didn't have to explain. I didn't have to explain why I need to take the digital electronical textbook or materials for the exams, actually. Yeah, because everyone had to take the exams online, so, and in internet, so my screen reader could read it out for me, so I didn't have to explain about it to professors. So yeah, so it made me take the exam easier, I think.
So not all the materials, the studying material was accessible, but since it was offline, you could stop the lesson and check it out. Right, right. That's good. I mean, all materials should be accessible, but if it is not, then it's better that you can stop
so
the lesson and check it out.
I had to restart and then review the context after the class.
Great. So how has technology affected your access to communication this year? Is there anything you want to add? Like communication with your,
actually,
you're talking about communication with your teachers, but also with your relatives, your friends.
Right. I could, as other panelists mentioned about it, I could be free from the virtual. So yeah, like as I attended this conference from South Korea, I could attend some team project anywhere, especially from my home. So I think it was the good thing to communicate with other people this year. Yeah.
And what is one change to mainstream technology or a feature of everyday life that would make your life easier?
In every life, I'd like to mention about the a manned kiosk. If I go to a restaurant and then if they don't have any employee, and then if I need to order something with on the kiosk, and then it is pretty barrier for me to order food or something the other thing. So yeah, so I want all kiosk to be changed with with my devices. I mean, I think everyone's device, like smartphone. Each smartphone can be each kiosk for own person. So I'd like to, if I go to restaurant and then I'd like to put my smartphone from my jacket, from my pocket, and then just order just check the menu and then order the menu and then pay it with my smartphone.
That is an amazing idea. I
Yes,
think that's
think
something
that, yeah,
doable.
Yes, I think kiosk doesn't. We don't need kiosk for everyone. I mean, everyone. If everyone can manage it by their smartphone, by their device, then yeah, it is better for everyone. Not only for the disabled, but also for the able.
And also considering the COVID, I'm not willing to touch something that everybody else touched. So I would prefer to use my own smartphone. That's a great idea. Amazing. I have one last question. I'm reading that this comes from the Discord server. So I'm reading that from there. And the question is, I'm assuming you started using apps that you found helpful before the pandemic. With the new constraints such as lockdown and social distancing, do those apps provide additional features accordingly?
Actually, I think there's no additional features, but I think I've used such apps more often. I mean, for example, I used to know what the characters are in front of me. I use the InVision or OCR feature. So before the COVID-19, I used to be with other people often. So I didn't need to turn on InVision too much because I could just ask people around me and then to read out what is it read, why is it written like that. So but right now I don't have people around me, so so I had to so now I use InVision more often than before. So I think there is no additional feature, but I use the apps more often.
Thank you very much. That's interesting too. So and Abby, maybe we can ask everybody to turn their video on.
Yes, please. Roobi, Jan and Carly, Sannah, could you switch your cameras on? Hello. And Jan and Carly, can you switch your microphone on? Thanks. Now we have everyone together and you've seen each other's interview. I wondered if you had anything you wanted to say in response. Jan and Carly, maybe. I wonder if there's any thoughts that you've had when you've watched the other interviews that you might like to say.
It's been really we had lots of discussion whilst we were watching some, although very different disabilities, it's also lots of common difficulties, I think. We think it's amazing that Inho's gone to America backpacking.
There is a thumb up here in how for you.
Actually, everyone got surprised when I talked about it. Whenever I talk about it. So
yeah, I think just having when you have a difficulty, having the confidence to go into complete strange new worlds and not know what you're going to be met with, it takes a lot of bravery to do that.
Thank you. Actually, but it was pretty challenging actually. But it was not too much challenging because unfortunately in Korea there are many barriers in society, I think, than the US. So actually for me if it was in Korea, then I couldn't have thoughts to travel by myself, but it was in the US, so I could do.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Roobi, have you any thoughts from what you've heard?
Well, I'm really thankful to all the participants, because each of them has said something that I really believe in. For example, in the first interview, for example, I believe that technology should be like accessible for everyone. For example, if I imagine my granny, like she started using WhatsApp or Facebook during the lockdown. So I think technology also should be easy to for everyone, not just for young people, but also for people who are not used to technology. So, and as Sannah said, technology should be accessible for everyone, not just for disabled people. And that's what I also noticed during the lockdown, because all of my teachers that normally they couldn't understand my problems during the lectures, they experienced themselves. So it was easier for them to understand the way I studied and the things that I needed.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
And thank you, Roobi. Sannah, have you any thoughts which have occurred to you hearing the other speakers?
I've really loved watching all of the panelists' interviews, because what it helps me to do is, often we can be so sort of thinking about our own experiences, and what it does is open our eyes to other people's experiences. And it's also about thinking that we're all human, and it's about rethinking our communication, the way that we interact, and how we interact generally, in a way that improves communication for everyone.
Thank you very much, Sannah.
Thank you. And Inho Seo, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the panelist.
So we've got Jan and Carly, and we've got Roobi, and we've got Sannah.
Roobi, yeah, I agreed with Roobi's experience, like she said, like some accessibility for programs such as Microsoft Teams or Zoom or other Facebook. So the case of that, I actually when I try something new, like the biggest worry for me is that this application is accessible or not. If the if the application is accessible or not. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. So for studying in university, I agreed with Roobi.
Yeah, thank you. I have one question. Sergio, do you think I should ask the question now about Cole and Stephanie's work?
Well, there is one question from the question and answer from online. Do you think I can read that?
Yes. Yeah, do that. That's great.
That's a question from John Tang. The question arrived right after the first video from Jan and Carly, but maybe it also holds for the other panelists. Is were there any technologies that you only started using during COVID? What was the experience of learning a new technology during this time? So if there is something that you did not use before and you started using during the lockdown.
So Jan and Carly, is there anything new that you're using now that you didn't use before lockdown?
Yes, Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all experts in Zoom now, aren't we?
One of the challenges of when we were in lockdown is that I physically couldn't come and help. So we were using, and I've helped a few times since when Mum's been in meetings. So she has me on WhatsApp video, looking at her computer screen to see if I can help out with a setting or something. So
that's what I'm doing with my mom too.
Strong. Yeah. But I think it's not all the challenges have been stroke related. I think some of it has just been having a new thing. But,
yeah.
Especially with Mum and her processing and communication, repetition, practice.
Yeah.
So, and now you're a Zoom expert, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're going to be giving us a tutorial in all the annotation features later, I think. Okay, can we ask that to the other panelists? Roobi, is there anything new you've picked up during this last year, technology-wise?
Well, for example, Microsoft Teams, I never used it before. Also, as I said earlier, some online platforms to discuss and to share ideas at the same time, such as Zoompad. And also Zoom. I used Zoom for my singing classes. That was really funny because it was a bit harder than the actual class, but we could manage it.
Online choirs, I've heard a lot about these.
Yeah.
Sannah, have you picked up any new technology this year?
I think the same as everybody. I think we're all very new to Zoom. We're very new to MS Teams as well. I have been looking for different subtitling platforms to try and identify which ones are most time effective and most efficient. And there's DigiSub, which is AI DigiSub or AIG Sub. That's a particular subtitling platform that was fairly new for me. So I've been playing around with that.
Thank you. And Inho Seo, anything new for you?
Like, for me too. For me, like Zoom is also for me the first, and then and also Google Meet. I had never used Google Meet as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Until
we've got just a couple of minutes now, and I just want to ask everyone one last question, which we set you before, which was right. Have you got any questions for the technology researchers? We're going to put these in the chat and get you some answers. So Jan and Carly, maybe you could start us off.
We just wondered if people felt that there was enough information out there about stroke and aphasia. If people felt that it was within their, however they're working, if they had more facts and information about the disorder, would that benefit with technology development?
Thank you. That's a great question, and one I personally am very keen to hear the answer to. So I'll put that to, well done. I'll put that to everybody in the Discord server, and hopefully we'll get some nice answers for you there. Roobi.
Well, I was thinking about two things. Well, for example, due to the restrictions, I'm talking about my own experience. For example, it would be nice if there were apps or any software so people can ask for help like virtually. I know there are already some apps, for example, Be My Eye, for example, but it would be nice if these kind of technologies would be implemented, because yeah, I think that after the lockdown, it will not be so easy again. And the other thing was, it was like what I experienced a lot right after the lockdown was, there are always this restriction of number of people allowed in a room, in a place. And for example, I was waiting like in front of the post office, and I was not sure how many people there were inside, and I couldn't ask anyone. So as like it was my turn, the person, like the employee was like calling me, like giving some sign, but I couldn't see them. So it would be nice if there were any display or something that says how many people are already inside, or if you can enter in a place.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah,
good idea.
Sannah.
My question really is to ask the technology research community is what they're doing in terms of supporting high quality accessibility. And it's about engagement with us, because often we as deaf and disabled people are the experts as to which accessibility features work best. And so it's about using our knowledge and expertise, but also ensuring that that's done in the right way. So ensuring that we're there at the beginning of the development of a technological product, rather than just considering us during a consultation process. We should be there from the very start. And it's about appreciating our own life experience and our expertise.
I totally agree with you, Sannah. That's a brilliant comment.
Finally, Inho Seo.
I think this is not a question, but I'd like to request something like, I'd like to request some research that research the accessibility about culture life, like such as sports or games or entertainment and so on. Because I believe people can be more closer and can be friends when they share their experience at the same time and in the same place. So, but I feel there are not enough entertainment such as games or sports, like for example, I couldn't do soccer. I couldn't play soccer, and then I couldn't play basketball. I couldn't play Overwatch or like LOL or something with my friends, with my able friends, I mean. So I think we need to study study accessibilities for games or entertainments to enjoy them together.
Thank you. That's such an important
great
point.
content.
Yeah, I think
comment,
a lot. Yeah, I think a lot of time has been spent on kind of thinking about real accessibility issues to everyday functional things, and it's really important that we consider access to all aspects of life and culture and connection. And thank you so much. I just want to say thank you so much to all of our panelists. We really appreciate the time and your perspective and sharing your personal perspective with us. We've had some really lovely comments in the comment box to say thank you so much for what you've done. Sergio, did you want to?
One more thing, Abby. We will continue forwarding questions and answers among the panelists and the participants. So I invite the ASSETS participants to keep on asking questions on the Discord channel, and we will try to forward them to the panelists and then reply back on the Discord channel with the answers. So please keep on the discussion, which was very interesting in the last days. And now, Abby, there is Sherry. Here she is.
That's right. We're going to ask all the panelists to turn your cameras off. Say thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much again.
Thank you so much.
Big applause for everyone, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Abby and Sergio, for leading that really fantastic session. I think that you've given the research community a whole lot to think about, a whole lot of ideas and inspiration there. So I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much.